co-founder Apramaya is joining us on the show. Apramaya, some bit of development this morning when we heard that Twitter was no more an intermediary but just a digital news media publisher. Now, for a social media platform, right? What does the intermediary tag mean, Apramaya?
Especially for microblogging site and for somebody who needs to be able to promote freedom of speech on their platform. It is extremely important to have the intermediary status. It is because on one side you are giving the power of freedom of expression to the users without actually fearing for yourself. As the day you fear for yourself on whether you will be dragged to court, whether you will be dragged to the police station, you will start monitoring a lot more. You will decide what is said and what is not said, which is actually against the freedom of speech, right? So having the intermediary tag is a very, very important thing for a social media platform, especially like Who and Twitter. So it's actually a big thing.
Yeah. Apramaya, why don't you tell us about what happens when you lose the intermediary tag? For example, there's this development in Uttar Pradesh, and several FIRs are being filed. Several people have been named, including Twitter, over a case of fake news, hate campaign that is hosted on a platform. So, how critical does it become then? Okay, I think we've just... Yeah, can you hear me? Go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, I can hear you.
Did you hear my last question?
I heard your first question and responded.
Yeah, okay, let me ask that question again. Okay, let me ask that question again. So, when you lose the intermediary tag, right, and when digital news media publisher rules apply, now for an intermediary like yours, now you too are an intermediary and you have complied with the government rules. What does this mean?
Yeah, so it's a very important thing to have the intermediary status, because without that you are known to be a publisher, and as soon as you're a publisher, you're worried about what is published and not published. So if you're worried about what is published and not published, you will actually act against freedom of speech, because now you want to make sure that you're not dragged into courts and police station and various other places, right? So it's, as a social media intermediary, it is very, very important to make sure that to make sure that freedom of speech is safeguarded. You hold the tag of an intermediary, where the platform itself is not dragged into any issue.
Okay. Now, how difficult or a complicated process is this, Apramaya? Because it's being made out to be this great, gigantic exercise that involves a lot of coordination, a lot of manpower, a lot of decisions to be taken, right? To appoint a few, if not one or two officers. How difficult is it for you to comply? Is it at all?
Yeah, for us, it's really difficult to comply. It is mainly because the guidelines request was to appoint 3 officers. One was for the user to approach the company, one was for the authorities to approach the company, and the other one was the chief compliance officer. And apart from that, there were guidelines on takedown of certain content like harassment to women, pornography, child pornography, and various other things which are quite obvious to be doing in the interest of the user. So I don't think this has been a big challenge for us to implement or accept. And I think many other social media platforms also have done the same, accepted.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question then. So when you see this fight unfold, the reason I'm calling it a fight, because they're making it out to be a fight when it shouldn't be a fight. It should just be about compliance. Because I would shudder to think about coup, if possible, if you are operating out of the US and you failed or you refused to comply or you dared the US administration. Now, Now, assuming the same thing is happening here, now when you see this story play out, how do you read the situation of this battle that's ongoing?
We have entered Nigeria, and we are actually going to be setting up a local office in Nigeria. We will make sure that the local laws are complied to, and there is a comfort given to the local authorities that everything that is being said is according to the local law of land. Right? Freedom of speech is paramount. But every country has a set of local laws which will also need to be followed. And that is what we are making sure happens in Nigeria as well.
Yeah, okay. One last question. Apramya, how's been the coup story in India since launch?
We've received a lot of love. We're now hitting 7 million downloads, extremely energetic community. Across various Indian languages, it's not just English. So it's been quite an exciting journey for us, and super exciting to be building it right out of India. And hopefully, we should be able to enter, and give our microblogging services to a lot more countries across the world.
All the best, Apramya, and thank you for joining us